Welcome to the VTEC Academy. Today, Dadmobile finally starts making some progress. What we have here is a coilover kit by Progress for the 8th Gen Civics. It fits base models, LX, DX, and of course the SI. The install is going to be pretty straightforward. At least it looks pretty straightforward. I haven't done it on an 8th Gen yet. I'm used to 5th Gen, 6th Gens, 4th Gens, all the older Civics, but it looks pretty straightforward. You know, I got these sweet directions from Progress, and they also have a PDF on their website. So if you're into that, you pull up on your phone, of course, and just follow along and do the install from that. I got paper, so I got both. Hopefully it should be a pretty easy install. Just got to take off the wheels, jack it up, take out the old stuff, put in the new stuff, the wheels back on. The main reason I want to do this this coilover kit is the improved spring rates and the matched dampers. The kit comes with everything you see here. It's got the shocks, the threaded shocks for the front, the bolt-in shocks for the back, springs, cups, everything. One thing you will be doing is I'm going to be reusing the top hats from the front suspension to put on the new stuff. So that's the only thing that's getting reused. Everything else is all going to be brand new. Can't wait to see how it comes out. 2-jack method. Alright, and then this is pretty easy here. You just need a 19 and a 17 millimeter socket wrench combo to wrench these off. There's 2 bolts, and then there's also this 12 millimeter for the brake line that you have to undo, and I guess this is the ABS sensor that you have to take off. So that's what's up next. Alright, so to compress this strut, I got McPherson strut spring compressor kit. It's a loaner tool from Pep Boys, actually. And it's cool. You go there, they put a little hold on your card. I don't even know if maybe they take the money out of your account, but the thing is you can bring it back to them and they give you all your money back. So you don't need this all the time, so it's kind of cool. Alright, new day, new shirt, same strut. Last night I was trying to use this offset wrench to take off the 17 millimeter nut at the top of the strut, and it just wasn't deep enough to really secure that so I could turn it and get it off there. So I got this today. It is a pass-through socket wrench, and this would be really great if it were about a 1/4 inch deeper. This was too shallow. So time to go on the big gun, the impact wrench. here is the top hat, or the upper perch, removed from the spring. Start assembly. I think this just pops. Oh, it just pops right out. That's ready to use, and it's time to assemble the Progress coilovers. Now we got the top hat, and the cool thing about these directions is it has a little schematic, so you're not guessing the order of how things go, get put together. Basically, installation is reverse of removal, and the only thing that's different is this will go in the lower part of the strut in the upper bolt hole. Remember, there's 2 bolts down there, and this will actually allow us to dial in camber up front. Now, you could do 2 of these in the upper and lower bolt holes for maximum adjustment, but it's not really necessary for my application. If you're more serious race application, or you're trying to fit some crazy wheel combination where you want to get like up to, I think you can get almost 3 degrees of negative camber up front, so you could fit your wheels behind these fenders. But basically, it's going to install like this, and then you can set the bolt however you want for the amount of camber, however you want to set it up. But I'm going to set mine up for maximum negative camber, and then when I get it aligned, I'll see what they say. All right, so here's an update on Project Paperweight. I was taking off the rear wheels to put on the rear suspension, and lo and behold, 2 lug nuts snap off. So let that be a lesson learned. Don't trust them to not use an impact to torque your wheels. This is the 2nd and 3rd lug broken on this car in the past year. So I know it's not anything I've done. I torque my wheels exactly the same way I've been doing for 20 something years. So I know I haven't changed anything, and the car is a daily driver, and it's not like some kind of extreme track vehicle making tons of horsepower or doing tons of track days or anything like that. So I know that it's pretty much improper install of the wheels. I went to go take off the rear sway bar because it's on the lower control arm, and the Allen head bolt stripped out. So I can't get the bolt off the end link. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but not all hope's lost. I'm sure a lot of you guys out there have had these issues, especially, if you're just working in your garage, like me, and you're not working in a shop, and you don't always have the right tools, or you don't always have the tools that you need at your disposal. So, I mean, it's par for the course, right? So I hit the end links with some PV Blaster. I'm going to take a wire brush. Apparently, the 2 winters I spent in Minnesota really did a number on the rear suspension. So it looks like surface rust. So hopefully it's a surface rust that's stopping these nuts from being taken off. And I'm going to try to clean those off, and then I'm going to hit it with the impact just to see if I can spin it fast enough to get the nut off. If not, I have a Dremel with a cutoff wheel that I will just cut the end link and call that good, and just get new end links for it. Not all projects go the way you think it's going to go, but this is if everything came apart the right way, this would be a super easy install. It's ridiculous. It's like 5 bolts to do your whole rear suspension, put coilovers on. So Check this out. This is the difference in height between the rear springs. This is a much higher spring rate than this, so this will definitely squish this down more, and that kind of makes up for the difference. Here are the hardware and bump stops, I guess, for the backside. So my coilover install is pretty much finished. I went and got it aligned yesterday, got all my toe settings set up the way I wanted it for maximum drivability for daily driving. Maybe not the best settings for strictly track driving, but I do have to drive this thing every day. But I did notice something when I was driving to work this morning at 2 o'clock. The parking lot at work is very, very bumpy. It's rough. A lot of semis and stuff go through there. And every time I would go over a small bump, I would hear a noise. On my brake, I went out and I popped open the little cap here, and I saw that the flange nut at the top of the shock wasn't all the way down. So it basically, every time I hit a bump, the threaded part of the shock, the damper, was going up and down inside the shock tower. So that's not good. I mean, it didn't hurt anything today, just driving it 10 miles back and forth to work. And it just goes to prove the point. It's very important to read your manufacturer's directions, especially if they go through the trouble of making good directions like this. I missed the little part where it said thread the collars towards the bottom of the threads, put on your flange nut and then your lock nut, and then torque it down and then raise it back up. I'm going to remove the cowl and the part that covers up the shock tower so I can actually access the top of the shock towers through the top. I'll thread down the collars so it'll sit lower, and then I'll put the car back down. It'll be way lower. Take off the lock nut, thread the flange nut all the way down where it's supposed to be, re-put the jam nut on there and tighten it up, and then raise it back up on the threaded body, and I should be good to go. So this is what it looks like. Not too terribly low. I wasn't going for a stance look or anything like that. I wanted it to be very functional. I live in San Diego, and some of the streets downtown are pretty rough, so I didn't go too low, but I am about an inch down or all around, and you can really tell in the back. The front, if you knew how high it was before, you can kind of tell it was lowered, but the back definitely looks lower. I think just the way that rear fender is cut. Yeah, it handles great. When I'm cruising on the highway, it feels stock, but when I get a little bit more aggressive, you can feel a little bit more grip. Now, I did not put the rear sway on because I ran out of time. I had an alignment scheduled, and plus I had to get those lugs fixed, so I could be driving it this week to work. But yeah, I'm really happy with the way it turned out. And now I gotta go because I gotta make a target run. After all, Project Dadmobile. And yes, I did forget the caps on the wipers. Sue me. I'll put them on later.